Hello, this is Postdoc Chronicles week number 77 and also the first one for the year 2020. As you can see, there's no electricity right now in my room. I was supposed to do, some stuff, but then since the electricity is out, let me get the Postdoc Chronicles out of the way. So I've been meaning to make this video, since January 2020 because I arrived at South Africa, Johannesburg, actually like around third week of January, but I got, very busy easily because I had to prepare my progress report for my postdoc funding, and then I had to do presentation for the then conference that was held last days of January in Thohoyandou in University of Venda, and then finally I also had to to write another proposal to come up with a new proposal for the DOST because the first one was rejected, but we're gonna talk about that in a while. But first, before we do that, let me feature this game called 1980X. It's a recent indie game on the Nintendo Switch, and it's very good. It kind of reminds me of Evoland. It's a mashup of several genres. In particular, this one, it's like it's made up of five different genres of games that were famous in the 1980s, and it's sort of a coming of age story, about a guy whose hobby out of the his daily life is playing video games, and it's composed of basically five short video games. It's fairly short. So the first one is like beat 'em up, something like reminds you of Double Dragon. The other one is a shoot 'em up, kind of reminds me of R-Type or Gradius, and then the third one is like a racing game, very heavily inspired by Outrun, and then there's an action platforming game that is heavily inspired by Strider or Ninja Gaiden, and then finally the last one is a dungeon crawling RPG. The first person one with a wireframe background, reminiscent of the early RPGs, in the computer, and it's really very nice, very nostalgic. But the thing is, yeah, it's kind of short that I was able to finish it right away. But yeah, hopefully they make another game that is that has some other genres in it, not just the five. They could have like fighting game and pure platforming, not action and so on. But I don't know, because Evoland, especially Evoland 2, they really, the number of genres that they mix in that game is really very fascinating. But anyway, yeah, enough about that. Let's go to postdoc. So like I said, I arrived here third week of January, and then I had to do my not terminal report, progress report for my postdoc right here. And again, like I mentioned last year, my contract is gonna end April 2020, but we still need to do the qualification task for Atlas, and so I have to have a funding beyond April 2020. So at first, Deepak was willing to fund my stay from his funding, but then like I said before in my previous chronicles, there's like a sort of conflict with his funding with my previous grant. It's like they came from the same source, so I'm not eligible for that grant anymore. So we couldn't do that, so I had to apply. When I was in the Philippines, I had to apply for a DOST proposal, and then the main drive, the main motivation that I wrote in that initial proposal is that I'll be doing the Atlas qualification task, and DOST really wanted some Filipino to be connected with CERN and so on. When you read their like priorities, one of them is like particle physics. But yeah, when I did my proposal, I told them, after this, I'm gonna be part of Atlas. I'm gonna be part of the publications of Atlas. They said that there's no, like, they couldn't fund it because this is a research grant, and then they couldn't see any research in there. And even though I in my proposal, I outlined the specific qualification task, because you see in Atlas, a qualification task is actually a research. These are like list of open problems that you need to do for Atlas. Okay, and so it's not like you just sit down and then they see if you're qualified or not. You're actually doing some research, when you do Atlas qualification task. So I think this wasn't clear initially. So what I did when I arrived right away is come up with a new proposal, because I got the rejection actually like a few days when I arrived here. So I made a new proposal right away, and then I sent it back, hopefully. And in this proposal, I never mentioned Atlas qualification task. I really talked about phenomenology or particle physics, a research problem that we can do for that additional 10 months of extension that I was asking for. And by the way, speaking of arriving, so when I arrived, I was in my old room in Graduate Lodge, but now I'm in my the room that I preferred, which is in South Court. So one of the few things again that that made me busy when I arrived is I had to move right away when I arrived on Graduate Lodge. But yeah, so aside from the DOST proposal, I also had to make my presentation for the University of Venda, conference which we had just like it ended like last Saturday. It was like Wednesday, 3-day conference in starting last Wednesday. I presented our results on stealth supersymmetry, which was fortunately it got published when it was officially published. So it was like provisionally accepted like around end of November, but or mid November. But then when I came, when they because they wanted me to add that particular plot on the significance versus the different masses of the quark. So we did that, and then when I actually arrived on the Philippines for my Christmas holiday break, my Christmas vacation, I got the letter from Physics Letters B saying that our paper was officially accepted. So that's one of the things that I actually that's actually what I presented. Deepak said I could present that the Stealth SUSY or the other Fino project involving multi-Higgs, but I'm more confident with the Stealth SUSY because it is already published, so like it's more my sort of confidence on that study is as much stronger because the referee were already convinced that we did something relevant. So that's what I presented on the University of Venda. So University of Venda is like it's located in Tohoyando. It's like a province or a town. No, it's a city located in Limpopo, which is the province. So Deepak mentioned something about it having many mangoes, but I was disappointed. Like there's more mangoes in the Philippines or where I came from in like Manila. Like growing up, I saw more mangoes than in University of Venda. But anyway, overall it was a good conference. The hotel was very nice. Very premium, and the Wi-Fi was good. I was so regretful that I did not bring my the dock for the Nintendo Switch because I told myself during when the last conference that we had when we also went to for the HEP last year. I don't recall having any like I couldn't access very well the HDMI, or even if I could access it, it wasn't worth it because the internet was not that great. But here the internet was like not tight. We could have played Splatoon 2 or something on the big screen, and then the flat screen was really very huge. But unfortunately, I did not bring my dock. So next time I told myself next time I'll go someplace else. I always bring the dock for my Nintendo Switch. Okay, but yeah. So speaking also of the qualification task, so Deepak already got one for me. Initially, it was like something like the upgrade from the HEP MC2 to HEP MC3 format. I told Deepak like this is something. It looks very. It's like something that is very hard to do. So we tried, at least for me personally, based on my current background. So I asked Deepak if we can find something else. Unfortunately, he found another one. This time it's like Pythia, related to Pythia, and a little bit confident with this one because I've tried using Pythia already for the past year. So this one there's an upcoming version of Pythia 8.3. So this qualification task will involve validation of 8.3, making sure that it runs on the Atlas framework, in Athena and all those things, and then providing some Monte Carlo samples based on this new version, and then making sure that it's a match with the 8.2 and stuff like that. So I'm really excited with this qualification task. So I have to talk with Deepak tomorrow like how to officially start it and so on, because the way from what I've learned, you will have a supervisor that is not Deepak, someone from Atlas that is doing that, or his task is very close to that specific thing. So he will be the one who will be monitoring you of your progress, like weekly, monthly, and so on. And so the qualification task will last around a year, and then after that my name will become part of the Atlas publication. But anyway, this has been Postdoc Chronicles, week number 77. So the next one, week number 78, will come again towards the end of the week, which will comprise of the stuff that we'll be doing this week. Today is still Monday, so this Postdoc Chronicles are the stuff that I did previous week when I arrived up to the conference in Venda HEPP 2020. Okay, but this has been Postdoc Chronicles week number 77, and I hope the electricity will come back soon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.